All right. So, um, my name's Alana, and today I'm going to talk about money skills and budgeting, part two. And it's part two because I did another one on budgeting a few weeks ago. But if you missed that, that's totally fine. Um, just a reminder what budgeting is. It's a way to look at your income, which is the money that comes in, and your expenses, which is money that goes out. So things that you have to spend money on, and making sure that your expenses aren't more than your income, and being able to kind of plan and make sure that you're saving as well. So just going to watch a quick video on budgeting. And you all can see that, right?
Why should I budget? Ask yourself a few questions. Do I live paycheck to paycheck? Do I want to change my financial situation? Do I find myself running out of money right before I get paid? Am I ever late on payments? If you can answer yes to any of those questions, then you need a budget. Budgets can help us plan for both our wants and needs. Typically, budgets are thought of as restrictive, but they don't have to be. In fact, not only can budgets help you plan for your needs, but your wants as well. If life is keeping you in a financial bind, use your budget to figure out how to take more control. The budget will help you see where you can reduce your spending or maybe cut out something completely. You might also see that all your bills are due at the same time, so paying your cell phone bill early will help you save money at the end of the month. Sometimes people decide to budget because they find themselves in a financial hole, but why not try and prevent that financial turmoil and budget from the beginning?
Okay. Share. Okay. All right. So there are a lot of benefits that come with budgeting, but basically, like I said in the video, it gives you more of a sense of control of your finances, and you're able to see the big picture instead of kind of having all these moving parts and getting stressed from that budget. Although it might seem intimidating, it can kind of actually help de-stress and help you to plan. It can help you reduce impulse buying, so just buying on the spot. It can help you save for the future, and importantly, it helps you to reach your financial goals. So one rule that people commonly say is to pay yourself first. So that's basically related to saving. So when you get your paycheck or your income, which can be Social Security or benefits, it's not always just your income from work. But when you get that, you want to make sure that you first, before you spend it on anything else, give yourself an amount. And usually they recommend at least 10% of your income to go towards savings, towards yourself, your future self. So thinking about goals that you might have financially, you want to make sure that your goals are SMART goals. So they're specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, timely. It's an acronym, so that you're actually able to achieve them. So for example, let's say you need a new computer and you want to buy a new computer. So making it a SMART goal would make that more likely that you'll actually achieve it. So specifying and saying, I found a new computer that costs $2,000 online. So how much money can I put aside each month to save towards that? So I determined I can put $200 away per month, and then that's going to take me 10 months to reach that $2,000. So that's another category for my budget, my personal budget. I could add that section. So that would be different from savings. It would be going towards the computer. A fun thing that you can do to help you reach your goals is a vision board. So thinking about what do you want to achieve in the next year or two, in the next 5 years, and then related to those goals, what images or words represent those or make you think of those goals? So for me, I might put a picture of a computer on the vision board. And then you want to think about, are those things that you want to achieve things that you'll need money for? So is there somewhere you want to go, a trip? Is there something that you want to buy, like a car? And think about, like, do you need to adjust your budget to be able to meet those goals? So do you need to have the section of computer and put away the $200 to make sure that you're actually able to achieve that goal? So first you want to start out by having your goals. Remember to have them be SMART goals. And then you want to gather materials and create one. So if you all don't know what a vision board is, usually it's either, well, what I said, the images or words that represent the goals. And then you kind of put them all together on a board that's unique to you. So you can use like pictures from old magazines. You can do it online as well, just gathering different images from the internet, or you can print those out. And you want to put it somewhere that you'll see on a regular basis so that you're continuously reminded of your goals, and that might help you reduce impulse buying. Like if you see it before you, or if you see your vision board like when you're at home on the internet, you might say like, no, I don't actually need to buy such and such. I'm saving towards this. So making sure that you have it somewhere you'll see. If it's online, you might want to put it like as your desktop background or something. But here are two examples of vision boards. So the first one, they want to have a kid. Kids cost a lot of money, I've heard. There's a car. If they want to get married, marriage also supposedly costs a lot of money, depending, you know. Looks like they want to go on a trip. And then the other one, their goal is to save $200. So it's things that inspire you to reach your goals and live your best life. Another system that people use sometimes is called the envelope system. So basically you have an envelope for each category of spending. So these might look different depending on the person, but you could have a category for utilities, one for like treat yourself money, and you can either put the word or the picture on the front of the envelope, and then you take physical cash and put it in there, the amount that you'll need for the month. And that can be helpful because not only does it organize your money, but also sometimes if people are using actual physical money to buy things, it helps you realize the impact of your spending. So it's a little different when you're swiping a piece of plastic, a credit card or debit card, and you don't really see immediately the chunk of what you're spending. But if you maybe like took out money to eat out and you realize, oh, that's half my money already, like I guess I can only eat out, you know, 1 or 2 more times this month, it can really be helpful to see that visually. Another thing that people use sometimes is just a spending log. So just writing down what you buy every day, what your expenses are, and then the price, and just keep track of that over a week, over a month, to kind of see your habits if you don't already kind of know, if you don't have a budget, and it might kind of surprise you. And thinking about like looking at that log, then afterward, what are areas that I can reduce my spending on, or and then this sheet uses the needs and wants. So thinking about when you buy something, is it something you need, like food, or is it a want, like jewelry? And then one other suggestion that I've seen is to also record how you were feeling at the time of the purchase. So like for me, I don't know if you guys have heard the term retail therapy, but sometimes when I'm feeling sad, I'm like, oh, well, you know, maybe new clothes will make me feel good about myself or something. And it might, like for a minute or two, but ultimately it doesn't really increase happiness. And I might end up feeling worse or guilty because I didn't spend it on needs or something that is in line with my goals. There are a bunch of other methods that people use, and it's really just about trying different things out and seeing what's best for you. So there are a bunch of different phone applications, phone apps that you can download. There are free ones where you can enter um, your amounts and it will help you keep track of your spending. There are ones that you can help create an actual budget on, and there are also ones online that you can, if you just Google like free or just budget generator, I think I've been able to find different ones. I like to look at my bank statement frequently just to make sure that you can see the visualization there of income and expenses. Like on my phone, I have the mobile banking, and I think it puts my income in a different like color or something. I can't remember exactly right now, but that way you can see uh, your expenses and what you're spending money on as well if you don't want to keep a physical log. I also like to write on a physical calendar as well, like the day of the month that something's due. So I might write like rent on the first of the month, and then my utilities are usually due more towards like the middle of the month. So I write those on there to remind myself and to think about timing in terms of when I want to spend different money. So what it was talking about at the beginning with that video of like you can try to pay one bill early, or so you're not just running out of everything at the same time. Especially, yeah, if you can space them out throughout the month, that can be helpful. Whatever works best for you, because that can also be confusing for people to remember different deadlines. But something that people do also is like automatic payments. So if you know that you'll have enough in your budget to have the amount taken out every month or however often it is, then that can be a useful thing for people. You can keep like an Excel spreadsheet. Like I said, there's a bunch of different websites and tech tools. I did want to show you guys this website, the Practical Money Skills, because they have a lot on here. So, beep, beep. Where is it? Oh, this one. Nope. Okay, here we go. All right, so there's a bunch of different resources under the Learning tab, talking about different terms, pretty much everything related to money, credit, how to save, budgeting, institutions, debt, etc. And then there's some good resources if you want to teach. There's games as well. So some of you may have heard of like financial football, but those are fun. And then the resources I found really useful. So if you go to like free materials, they have a bunch of different things. But if you wanted to learn about like identity theft, you could click on that. And then it's easy, it's just right there, like what to do if your identity is stolen. And it goes through that stuff. Yeah, educating your children. It has different little games, like I said, you can play, and worksheets. And then comics. This was cool too. Like Guardians of the Galaxy as related to finances. I started looking through it a little bit, but like basically they go on an adventure and they're like mini and they're at a bank. One of them wants to buy a gift for his sister. So makes it kind of fun, especially if it's like a kid or someone that you're working with. But yeah, so that's just practicalmoneyskills.com. So that was a fun one I found. All right, going back to this. Okay, so I'm going to quiz you guys, and if you could either take yourself off mute or put it in the chat. The first one is, which of these is not a source of income? So remember, income is what comes in to your pocket. So allowance, salary, interest, or savings? If you guys don't know, I can help you out, but I was hoping people would know. All right, I'm just going to go through the answers just to educate y'all. So not a source of income. So allowance would come into your pocket, so that would be income. Salary is like what you'd earn at a job. Interest is also something that you earn. Like if you have a savings account, usually that generates interest. It's like a small percentage of the total amount. Savings. So savings would be the right answer. It's not a form of income because it's not making, well, it's making your future self richer, but for the purpose of this, yes, it's not income. Okay, which of these are not expenses? Wages, gifts, things we need, things we want. Oh, I see a chat. D. Oh, that was probably for the first one. Yes, that is correct for the first one. Not expenses. A, wages. Because that's gonna come in, because that's kind of the same thing as like salary. Okay, 2 more questions. What can help you buy your future wants and needs? Impulse buying, which is buying on the spot. Probably not that one. Expenses, overspending, or savings. Let's see. Savings. Yes. Number 4, a budget helps you to A, buy everything you want, B, balance your income with your expenses, C, overspend. If you make a budget and it helps you overspend, you're doing it wrong, just so you know. D, earn more money. That would be nice. B, balance your income with your expenses. Okay, so now we're going to do some math, which is really fun. Money math. So you just graduated high school and you want to be independent now that you're an adult. What are some first steps? Well, the reason the now hiring sign is there is because I would say, well, budgeting I would say is the first step, but then you might realize you might need more income. So I'd say getting a job is a good starting point. So you have money. So you're going to choose your job, and I will do it with you guys. You can either like do it with me or do it separately if you have different choices than I do. But where is it? All right, so I'm going to choose welder. So this is for a monthly budget. So I'm going to make $2,565 in 1 month. Okay. Well, I want to pay myself first. So 10% of that. So if you're looking at 2,565, we want to move the point, the decimal point at the end, over to the left. So it's going to be $256. So you're going to want to put that away. So then how much is left over for your other expenses? Let's see. So if you all subtract faster than I do, then let me know, because I'm doing it by hand. No, I'm not going to do it by hand. I'm going to do it on my calendar. I mean, calculator. Sorry. All right. So 2,565 minus 256. I'm getting $2,309. Okay. Let me know if you want me to slow down. So remember we had talked about wants and needs. I believe we talked about that last time. But one of the needs that we have is shelter, a roof over our heads. So if you stay at home, your parents are going to cut you a pretty good deal and like only make you pay $250 for rent. That doesn't include utilities and whatnot. But because there are multiple people living at home, it ends up being cheaper. But if you want to get your own place and be more independent, you can rent with a roommate, and that's obviously cheaper than renting by yourself, which would be double the amount. Or you can try owning your own home. So I'm going to go with renting a roommate. So that's $500. So I'm going to subtract 500 from 2,309. 2,309 minus 5, 2,309 minus 500. I'm getting $1,809. And I am not that great at math, so hopefully I'm not doing this wrong. But if you need support with your calculations and stuff, remember that it is totally okay and necessary to ask for help, or necessary at times. Okay, so we've got some sad little animals. Aren't they cute? But yeah, so let's say that you and your roommate, for me, because I chose to live with a roommate, we happen upon one of these little creatures, a stray. It doesn't have a collar and it seems very loving and affectionate. Do you keep it? I'm going to say yes. So I'm going to take 100 out of my paycheck because I need to feed it. It probably needs its shots. So I'm going to take away 100 from 1,809. And that's going to give me 1,709, I believe. And if you don't adopt it, what else could you do? So you could call your local animal shelter. That's something I might do. Then we're going to go shopping for some food so that we don't starve. So I'm going to do beans. So that's $1. I'm going to go for some ramen. That's another $1. Chicken for dinner, $7. Milk, $4. What else am I going to buy? Spaghetti, noodles, and sauce. So that's $6 total. Eggs, $2. I don't think I'm out of paper towels or toilet paper, but I do want to get some rice to go with my beans. So we're gonna say that's like $3. I'm gonna add all of this up. So $1 plus $1 is 2, plus 7 is 9, plus 4 is 13, plus 6 is 19, 13, right? Yeah, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So I have that my grocery list cost me $24, which is slightly unrealistic, but for the purposes of this, it's okay. So we're gonna take away 24 from 1,709. I need my calculator for that one. 1,709 minus 24. I'm getting 1,682. More bills. So if you'll be living at home or with a roommate, are you going to want to own a cell phone? And it's kind of debatable whether that's a want or a need, but I would say in today's society, it's probably a need so that you can communicate with others. Do you want a landline? Most people don't have landlines these days, but so I'm going to say no to the landline, but I do want internet because I do use the internet a fair amount. If you choose not to get the internet, you could always go to your local library, or some coffee shops have free Wi-Fi. But I'm going to choose the Internet Plus Cell plan, which is $125 for the month. But I chose to live with a roommate, so we're going to split that. So I'm going to pay $60. So I'm going to take away $60 from 1,682, because math is fine. 60. I'm getting 1,622. There's more. So, personal care, you might need more soap or toothpaste or shampoo, entertainment, whatever form that takes for you, clothing. Let's say you have another job interview coming up, you want to get a second job part-time, you want to eat out because you don't want to have to cook meals every night, and then you have a car, so you're going to need gas and insurance. So don't worry, we're almost done with all this math, but we're going to add up 50 plus 50, so that's 100, plus 35 is going to be 135. Oh, well, 35 plus 35 is 70. So we're going to have 170 plus 100, 270 plus 40. That's the only one I can't. Well, that's 310, I think. Plus 40, 310. Yeah. So we're going to subtract 310 from 1,622. 1622 minus 310. It's going to be 1,312. And then, there might be some other things that you want to do for fun. Some things are harder these days because of COVID, but I do like going to concerts and movies. So, depending on the concert, I'm just going to say maybe $20. Totally depends, but I'm going to take away 20 minus 20. So I have 1,292. I'm also, oh, do you have any leftover? So I do. So I'm also going to take away 200 for my computer savings. So I'm going to be left with $1,092. So what are you going to do with it? Well, I probably am going to save the rest of it because I have all my food. I've paid my bills. So that's, yeah, I'm going to put it in my savings account and accrue interest. But if you don't have any left over, like let's say you did all those calculations and you bought more groceries than I did and all of that, if you don't have any left over, you are probably going to want to adjust your budget. Or if you don't have as much left over as you want, same thing. You might want to cut out spending in an entertainment area, or see, can you take public transportation and drive less? There are a lot of different options, and it depends on your life and your lifestyle. But something else to remember with budgeting, you want to look up comparisons for those who meet your demographics. So by that I mean like where you live, for example. So like if you're looking at housing, you might want to say, how much does an average one-bedroom apartment cost in Harrisonburg, Virginia? And that way you can see, like, am I being really overcharged for this because I'm a student, for example? But yeah, that can be helpful to see similar people in your situation, what they are usually spending, and kind of budget that way. So you can also look up, if you think of a budget as a pie and then you think of the different percentages of your spending, you might want to say, is it normal for me to be spending half of my budget, half of my income on rent? So think about those kind of things, and there are recommendations for the percentage of your budget that you should spend on different areas of living. So that can be helpful to think about that as well. But basically, budgeting really takes practice. It's kind of an intimidating thing, like I said, to start out. And I am one to tell you I don't really enjoy it either, but the end result really is beneficial because it really can take away a lot of stress in your life. And if you do that work to make a budget, it can really pay off and um, yeah, help you plan and help you be more successful in your future life. So future Alana, will thank past Alana for planning as much as she did. I could also plan more, but yeah. So it does. I can't talk. It definitely depends on you and finding out a system that works for you. So some people like to have things physical, hard copy, like do it on their calendar, like I was saying, and some people like to use an app on their phone because they're very good with technology. So it really just depends, and you can try out a few different methods, but don't give up. And remember that you can always ask for support. Does anyone have any questions or concerns for me at this time? Okay, great.